Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to the 13 Reasons Why After Show. Today we are covering episode 4 and 5, tape 2, side B, tape 3, side A. And we have executive producers Kristel Laiblin and Mandy Teefey here to talk about it with us. Thanks so much.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
This lovely music.
You know the words, don't you?
Oh, this has been my favorite song for 3 years.
Oh my gosh, that's lovely.
2 years, yeah.
I can't wait to ask you guys all the questions. Hey, you guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in again. We are back, and we have Mandy and Kristel, executive producers, here to talk to us about everything. Before we get started, let's get some introductions from everyone. Chanel?
Hey guys, I'm Chanel Hurlin, and you can find me on all social media at Chanel Hurlin.
Hey guys, I'm Chae Jones. You can find me at Real Chae Jones on Twitter and Instagram. Love Chae Butter on Snapchat and just Chae Jones on Facebook.
Hi, I'm Becca Brown. You all can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca B Talks TV.
And I'm Hannah Prichard. You all can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at The Hotshot Dude. And you guys, we have the two wonderful executive producers here in studio with us.
Thank you.
Can we get some introductions from you all and where people can find you?
Oh, yeah, I'm Kristel Laiblin, and on Instagram I'm at KTAL77, KTAL77. And I think that's the best way to find me.
I only have Instagram, but mine's totally long. It's Kicked, #2, The Curb Productions. It's on Instagram, that's all I have.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, first I have to mention that you still have on your blue nail polish, which I am loving.
Yes.
Yeah, it did look better. It's all chipped now.
It looks
but,
fun.
you know.
Exactly. Everybody
fantastic.
watching at
Everything's
home, they
good
can't
for
tell.
fun.
They can't tell.
Yeah,
Can't tell.
It looks great.
Thank
So
you.
first, you guys, I have to ask you about getting started on this. Years and years ago, this has been like a long, long journey for you all.
Yeah, so 8 years ago, I read the book, and I was excited. I wanted to see if it was available to make it to a movie. That's what I did, make movies. And I found out that I had something in common with this person. I'd never met Mandy before at that time, and she loved the book, and her and Selena went to go meet Jay Asher, and they loved each other. Sorry. And then we partnered together, and we set it up as a movie. And that was we read the book 8 years ago, and we set it up 7 years ago. This is how long things take. Sometimes they could happen in a year and a half.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes 8 years to get something onto screen. And so we did it as a movie. We developed it, and then realized it wasn't fully, the story wasn't being fully told. So we decided to try television right when all of these big shows, limited series, were kind of hitting the marketplace. And we thought, where would we want to do it, where we could do it the right way, and to tell the same story. And when we first met, instantly bonded on the way to tell the story. Real, and we had all the same movie references, and so we just knew that we were going to really want to put the same project out there together. And then we found Brian Yorkie, who is this amazing writer and Pulitzer Prize winning playwright and songwriter, and he adapted this, and once he did the pilot, it just really moved fast. We went to Netflix, set it up, and here we are today with we have an amazing cast, wonderful directors, great writers, so it came together in the way that we really wanted it. It's a dream come true.
Yeah, for sure. The way it was supposed to happen. So all those years, Jay never left us.
Yeah, we're
Never
so
left
lucky,
us.
and we're so close with him, and we're so loyal. And a lot of writers get a little antsy, like I want my project to make it, but I think this is the best example of sometimes it takes longer, but if we can do it this way and the right way, it's worth the time.
Right.
Because there's so many projects that they rush to production, and they get a good star, they get a good director, and it just doesn't come together, and it kind of dies on the vine. And I think if you can put it together in the right way, it's meaningful and it makes a difference.
Right. And it being on Netflix, I feel like was the perfect platform for it, especially considering, in the books and with all of the tapes. In the book, it happens in one night.
Yep.
And the way people binge watch television on Netflix, getting to watch the whole series, they can do that. They can have that full experience of listening to the tapes.
Yeah.
I think it's perfect for you all. Perfect. cool. I just
We're
want to.
glad you think that.
How many times? I do also have to ask. How many times have you read the book at this point now?
I probably read it about 6 times. Before we actually, once it went with Brian, I never checked it again because he was amazing and he got the story. And there was, we were talking about a character outside, and I was like, I hadn't read the book in a while, and we were talking about a character, Jeff Atkins, which everybody's in love with, played by Brandon, and I was like, where's Jeff? That's how long it's been since I read the book. She's like, no, you remember, da-da-da. And she was explaining. I was like, oh, okay. She has a crazy memory, though. It's almost scary.
It works.
She'll remember all of you and your Instagrams, your Facebooks. She can spit it back to you.
Then this means we have not met before, right? So that's what that means. Okay,
No,
great.
but sometimes I have met people and it takes me a while. Or like I'll be just watching a TV show. I'm like, where have I seen that girl before? I know I've seen something. And then I go, oh, she auditioned for us. That's how you know what I mean? Like I was watching Big Little Lies. And I saw someone, I'm like, how do I know her? And I looked at her credits, don't know her, and I was like, oh, I've seen her audition before. So I was like,
I'm assuming that was the young blonde girl, was it?
Yeah.
The daughter. She was wonderful.
Yeah.
Now I want to know, I'm like, who'd she audition for?
No, but it doesn't even mean for this.
In general.
Produce other films, and so sometimes I'm like, oh, I had a general with you 5 years ago. That's why I know. Yeah.
Wow.
There's a lot of people we meet going through this and in this project. So.
That's insane.
Well, I have that kind of memory too.
It turned out perfectly. I mean, this has been a huge, huge hit. I think you posted the other day saying that it's like the #1 talked about Netflix show.
It is.
Yeah, it's like the #1 Netflix show ever, apparently.
It's incredible.
I would love to see the Netflix numbers for that, though.
I want to see that too.
I don't know. It's a other company that hold all those facts, and I'm not gonna take it away because that's amazing.
Really
right?
cool.
Yeah,
You're like, we'll take it.
You know,
I guess
but-
they counted the tweet mentions, even if it wasn't hashtagged, which I thought was pretty amazing. They could just say if it says 13 reasons why they pick it. So I would have thought something like Stranger Things after it had that phenomenon would have been pretty high up there, but
Oh no.
You can maybe they did it pre or the week of or the first week because some people are. You know, other networks will say, oh, the #1 show in North Dakota at 7 p.m. between 8 to 12-year-olds. Just to get a #1 in there. So I'm like, okay, no. But, like
I'll
Twitter, it got like 3.500, like, thousand million or whatever. It was like, I don't know that stuff. But
crazy.
In less than a week.
Oh my gosh, that's
That
insane.
was, like, recycled on Twitter.
I feel like it's pretty accurate, though, because I'll be, like, scrolling through Facebook, and it can be any time of the day, and I'll see at least one article about the show.
Really? That's
Even
incredible.
one of my friends, they're like, "Oh my gosh, have you guys seen 13 Reasons Why yet?" And I was like,
You're trying to be good and stick with the
"I
episodes.
can't know." And I was just like, if you haven't, you need to watch it.
Well, Chae right now is our only host right now who has not binged. The rest in this past week,
I
they
gave
caved.
in.
I'm
binged.
trying so hard not to cave.
We're
I'm
trying
sorry.
to keep her from watching it. If you guys think she should go ahead and do it, just let us know.
I'll probably
We'll let
just-
her do it.
I really don't want to. That's the whole point. Like, I actually want to be surprised. I want that moment where I'm
Good.
just like, dude, like,
Yeah.
I don't want you
Well-
to either. We gotta have somebody here keeping us on
Yeah,
our toes.
because that was me. After episode 5, I was like, how can I not watch episode 6 now?
girl.
But now that I've binged and rewatched, now what are we doing? Episode 4 and 5.
Yes.
I'm picking up a lot more things that I didn't see
Absolutely.
initially, you know?
Absolutely.
So I'm actually glad, but don't binge. be strong. But I'm glad I did because now I'm seeing things that I didn't actually see the
Well,
first
that's what
time
we were-
watching.
We were hoping because there's
Yeah.
a lot of things that you could miss the first time around. I think the biggest compliment for me right now has been my friends who have high school age kids or other friends that have like cousins or something, and they're saying that they're like our whole high school is talking about it. I'm like,
Yeah,
That's
it's brilliant.
incredible.
It's so relevant
That-
for high schools right now.
Yeah.
Especially the way social media is just blowing up. I think it actually should be mandatory
that's
in
what we
schools
do.
because you just learn so much, and at least it opens up doors to have a conversation with parents,
that
children.
feels so good. 'Cause
teachers.
I feel like the reason we do any kind of art or any kind of entertainment is for discussion and conversation.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's what this was. We didn't want it to seem like medicine or
Yeah.
Right.
anything to teach people. The fact that people want to talk about it is the biggest compliment. I'm so happy.
It's made an
Yeah,
impact.
my nephew, he's 9 and he's in the industry, and he is such a now big promoter of saving people from bullying, like, because he sees it, like, he's 9 but he's like so smart and he can see what's happening around him. Some people are like being bullied or just getting hurt, and he feels like he doesn't know how to help, so he wants to help.
Yeah.
And it's
I
just
mean,
like, oh, I love that child
one
so
of my
much.
friends told me a story where her friend has a daughter in high school, and she actually knew of a girl that was maybe going to attempt. And so she went to the counselor and said something, and then that girl, the daughter, was getting bullied for tattling. And I was just like, no, that's the wrong message. And that was like 3 weeks ago. So hopefully post the show, some of those kids have understood that it's really important to say something, because sometimes people can't say it.
Right.
They can't ask for help. So if there's someone that can go to somebody and say, I think they might need to talk to somebody or whatever, they've kind of confided in me, that's what you need. And it shouldn't be tattling, and they shouldn't be going, I would hope they wouldn't go on social media after this, hopefully, or just discussions being had that it's okay to open up.
Right.
And that's exactly what, didn't happen with my friend's daughter. So
Right.
And I feel like it's also important for parents and like faculty in schools to watch so they can like see signs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Which is one of the
what's going
things I've loved about this show, expanding on the book. It's shown so many different types of bullying that are happening between the students and between all of the characters of the book, which we didn't really get to know in the book. And now we're seeing different things that they're going through as far as bullying, kind of in repercussion of the tapes in many ways, and also other signs of them showing signs of depression. And I love that you guys brought into the show all of these different signs of depression and these different kinds of depression. I feel like so many of the characters, we're seeing them kind of delve into their own personal issues from this, and I think it's really, really cool and important to show all the different ways that exists. And how we can all respond to each other, which has been really cool to watch.
And that's what we couldn't do with a feature. We just didn't
Right.
have time to really invest, and it did seem like you kind of like, okay, what is this girl doing? And you couldn't get their background and see how they're being treated after that. And it's like, I say in a slight way, Bryce bullies Justin. And so he's having to stand up to his bully while he's bullying someone. So it is
Exactly.
kind of like a snowball effect. And
I love that.
definitely is.
It's really, really interesting, and it's important because you got, with them doing that on the show, you all haven't made it seem like that's not bullying. You know what I mean? You've still made sure to showcase all the different layers of bullying, even though, the main character has died and killed herself and is, explaining all of these reasons to what led her to do that. But watching the people who, quote unquote, like bullied her, watching them be bullied and bullying each other and bullying themselves, it's a really cool thing to watch, and I think you guys nailed it with
What I loved
that.
about I'm gonna say 4 and 5 because that's all I'm up to right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that what I love so much about this show in just particular is that you don't know. I'm gonna say high school is like where all your emotions are so like on like the maximum level, and you don't know somebody's journey. And no matter if you're the bully or you're the person getting bullied, you should realize that you don't know everybody's journey. You don't know what they're going to do. You don't know what people are really capable of. And I think the show really brings out you need to watch. And you need to pay attention.
Well, that's why I like in episode 4 so much, because Tyler really, that character, I mean, I love that actor so much, but that character is hard for me because he was going in, like, to her house and taking pictures. Like, that's very invasive. And yes, there are worse reasons coming up, but that one is very, for a girl, woman, to feel like someone's watching you and stalking you. That's just really scary and unsettling. But when he goes in there and he's feeling terrible because, oh gosh, I think it's actually 5 when this scene happens where he gets pantsed. And he goes into Mr. Porter's office, and here's Mr. Porter, who's this newer counselor, and he's from a different area, a different school, and he says, they got pantsed, and he goes, pantsed? I don't know pantsed. He's like, you're a high school counselor. Are you kidding me? He's like, where I worked before, kids got shot.
Right.
Pantsed? I don't know. And that right there tells you this guy is not looking at the same signs as the former counselor, and he needs to learn quick, and he might miss something. And
Absolutely.
Well, he missed something.
yeah, and so,
he did.
But if you think about it, when you're at a different school environment, and there are other things to think about, I think it's really, it makes a difference.
Absolutely.
And so I just thought that was, even Mr. Porter, has his own challenges, obviously. So.
And I love you bringing that up because Mr. Porter has been, we've seen bits and pieces of him in the way that he's responded and dealt, and it has been, I don't want to say questionable by any means because I think he's doing the best that he can, considering. And I love you saying that because I don't know if we or I don't even know if I took enough note of him saying that and the
I didn't.
potential.
Well, it's very like Brene Brown of me, which one of our fellow producer Joy got us the book, and it reminds me that the main sentiment of her last book is people are doing the best they can. So when you want to be like, why is he doing that, or in real life, like, why would she say this to me? Whatever, they're doing the best they can. So you've got to kind of let off on other people, and that takes a huge step of like the anti-bullying and being easier on yourself and other people. Like, they're doing their best they can. They don't have maybe all the knowledge I have. So you got to take that into account every time you want to get really mad at somebody or really not understand someone's situation. So that's what I thought about Mr. Porter the whole time.
Great.
And the parents are kind of learning as well, too.
Absolutely. I do want to go ahead so we can get some recaps in, absolutely. But bringing up with Tyler, don't worry, guys, we will talk about Clay and Hannah this time. I absolutely promise you we will absolutely talk about them. But I do want to talk about the main arc of these 2 episodes, and that's Tyler and him taking pictures of Hannah and taking pictures of Hannah and Courtney, and how that led, what that did to Hannah and also what that did to Courtney. So we did see Tyler taking the pictures. Hannah and Courtney had set up like a nice little scheme, and we see them kind of build this small friendship, a short little friendship, based off of this. And Courtney kind of uses this moment to experiment in some capacity, or to reach for somebody to give her something back or to feel that way, and then in many ways is afraid of being outed by these pictures.
Yeah.
Yes.
It went a lot farther in the book. That's what I was just than in the book.
It did. It went a lot farther than in the book.
It's which is another thing about the show. It's more complex, I feel like, than the book. When you're reading it, it's more mature.
It is more mature. It goes to a further. It pushes the boundaries a little bit more
you don't
sexually.
Get to learn as much about Courtney and what might make her tick, and she just seemed kind of pretty petty and not very nice in the scenario in the book.
Yeah,
but,
right.
Yeah, and the book was written 10 years ago.
Yeah,
right.
So
that's true.
The kids have gotten to a whole new platform with the social media and being a little bit more liberal with other issues that are happening. And I don't know if it's because our socials and news is more accessible, but it just seems like everything that we talked about is getting more aggressive. Like, the date rape, those kind of things.
Right.
It's, that happens, and it's kind of pacified a little bit, where I know when I was in high school it wouldn't be pacified. It happened, but it wouldn't be ignored, you just didn't talk about it. But now with that, so I guess we had to make it a little bit more modern.
I love.
And I think,
No, you're fine.
With Courtney, she wanted to see if there wasn't going to be any reciprocation or anything like that. For Hannah, the heartbreaking thing for me is I was new in school a couple times, and I know what it's like just to want to make friends.
Absolutely.
And the funny thing is someone taught me too late, maybe my senior year, it's like the people that are really nice to you right away are probably the people you're not going to be friends with. The people that are too nice to you right away, it's sometimes they need something. They need validation, or they need new friends or something like that. But she just wanted to make friends, and she was excited someone was coming over, and they had a plan, even though it was a scary thing that she was dealing with. She was excited that she had a partner in the scheme, and so it just breaks my heart because she was so excited for this union, or to try this out and just have a friend to go through something with.
And we mostly see her have all these kind of short-lived friendships, like what you're saying, where she thinks they're going to be her friends. They have a couple hangouts or whatnot, and then somehow that derails, and she sees the true side of them, and they go on to have all of these other friendships in high school, and Hannah consistently is the one that just keeps getting passed to the next friend and to the next friend and kind of feeling left in the dust. Yeah. So I like that you bring that up with the whole new student. It's very, very true.
What I can respect about Hannah is the fact that, when she makes a friendship, she's that loyal die friend. And that's what I loved about, her scene, especially Jessica at the dance. You're not going with Justin. I'm taking you in my car. Yeah. We're going to get you home. Eat some of these crackers. Enjoy some water while I get you home safely.
That scene was so good.
It was
I loved
really
both
great.
of them, and how she's you're going to be the best soccer mom ever.
I know. And I even loved her apology. We did actually get an apology from Jessica, even though
even
it's
her coming up at the dance.
Exactly.
Saying, Hannah, you look great. And even though I've seen it many, many times, way too many times, rewatching them yesterday, these 2 episodes, I was like, oh, I love that Jessica did that. Like, I kind of saw it for the first time again, which is lovely.
I know. I love that we got a little reunion of the FML group.
Oh,
like
I
there
know.
for a second.
I know.
It was lovely.
We should end like that. We should all put our hands in.
We should start doing that.
Speaking of what Chae said, I feel like based off that, Hannah's a bit more like mature for her age and like wise beyond her years, and that's why like all this stuff, like that's why all of this is happening. Because when you're not like when you don't have the high school mind in high school, I feel like you overthink too much.
Absolutely.
So
Overthinking. One of
stories.
my daughter's friends, when she was going through the high school age, she'd always complain, guys don't like me, and she was an intellectual who read books and blah. I'm like, you're 15. No, they're not like, that's not what they're looking about, is to read novels. You're gonna get an amazing guy in college. And I go, hang in there. And sure enough, she emailed me the other day, 3 years! Like, 3 years or whatever. And I was like, just calm down.
That's amazing. Also think
Start all into reading. And
But I think it's amazing messages. High school is 4 years. You get through 4 years, it doesn't matter anymore. Please trust me on this, guys.
I know.
It will not matter.
That's exactly what I felt after I read the book. That's exactly what I thought. Like, if she could have just held on, and this is before
Like
It Gets
Mandy.
Better campaign when we read it, and the minute I closed the book, I thought, if she just could have waited, just because she just didn't know it was around the corner for her, and she just decided on her own, and she didn't know that, and I just want to treat everyone a little bit better,
Yes,
no matter what,
absolutely.
and kind of take a moment every time I get to 10 with people or things, go, no, what's the situation?
Right.
And like, can I be a little bit more understanding for with everyone, with every relationship? And I don't know if everyone would say I did that all the time, but I hope that I've tried more than I definitely did before.
I love that.
And that's something that we actually spoke about with Jay in our very first episode, is how when you're in high school, that's your world. That's all you know. That's all you're experiencing. So it's very hard to try and believe someone when you tell them life is just so much more, and school is so small, and these issues are actually so small in compared to what you're going to actually experience in life. So that's the thing that, you know, which is also amazing in the series, is to try and open teenagers' eyes up to that
Right.
school is not the end.
Well, that's the thing, is I've learned this on other projects, but we talked about this a lot with this one, is that everyone becomes an adult at a different age. Everyone. Yes. So you all might be the same age in high school, and all from the same area and background a little bit sometimes, but everyone becomes an adult at a different age. Could be 10 when your grandparents passed away, or 13 when you got cancer, or 14 when your dog died. Like, there's different things, but everyone becomes an adult, and sometimes it's when they go to college is when they have that real adult experience for the first time. If they've had no real trauma or upsetting situations, which does happen to people, you wouldn't believe it, but it does. And so I think even discussing it with producers and all our partners and all the writers and everything, everyone kind of grew up at a different age. And so you have all these people for 4 years, and you think you're all the same, but everyone's so different that you can't expect what their journey is, like you were saying.
I'm still trying to grow up, so.
I definitely have my mom.
I'm still trying. I'm having a roller skating party for my birthday.
Oh, that's amazing.
I got it all out for like 5
incredible.
people, so. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I was like, should I post something from there? I'm like, I don't know, because everybody's going to think I'm 12.
No, but that's fun. That's,
No
that's,
shame.
That's
Yeah.
fun to do
At
now.
heart, to always be young is the number one. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, we do have to deal with adult stuff as we get older. But be young at heart forever.
We have friends on like kickball teams and like like
That's so fun.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the dance, and for everybody else, let's talk about Hannah and Clay a little bit, because we actually did not get to last week. And we started to see a development between their relationship, and fans were so angry that we did not get to talk.
So upset.
Trust me, we were angry too, so we're
It
happy
was
to
just
talk about it
manic
now.
last week, actually. Our studio was crazy.
Oh, I bet.
But the one scene, just throwing it back now to last week, the one scene that I absolutely loved was when Hannah and Clay were sitting on the roof.
Yes.
And that chemistry was just palpable. It was amazing.
No, and then her little like scoop closer.
Yeah, that's what I'm
to him.
saying.
Oh,
From last
we
week.
covered it.
And I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh,
Yeah, but we didn't get to speak about it last week. So just
that's
to
huge.
throw back, I love that moment.
that's
It was
great.
beautiful.
And the
Such
way
a
she
beautiful
like
moment.
scooted over.
Yeah, that's my
Yes.
favorite part. Like, I just like, and he just like looked, and they just like still like kept it up quiet. It was just like adorable looking up. Let's look at the clips of the moon and the stars. I'm just like, why couldn't I have like something like that in high school, guys?
Yeah,
That'd have been
it's a beautiful
awesome.
picture. It was
Poor
beautiful.
Clay, he's like so naive. I feel like he doesn't get it all the time.
Yeah, no,
Which
he
is
He's
doesn't.
also a boy,
problem.
which we
He
like,
is a boy.
She kind of bashes
And he has
boys a
no-
little bit in the fifth
And he has no real
Episode-
female influence. I mean, it's
Right.
good,
Yeah.
but everyone shuts that down.
Yeah.
If you had guys with sisters, sometimes have a little bit more understanding, or a close cousin or something. But he didn't. He's an only child. There's no girls around him, so he didn't.
Like Zach shows that.
Yeah.
Later
Yes.
on.
Yeah.
He shows,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, how he was handling
Yeah.
Hannah.
Right. I love that he has Jeff, who kind of like has been pushing him along.
Yeah.
Like,
I
man,
love Jeff.
So
Yes.
cute. I just like
So
like
cute.
he
So
needs that
cute.
person in his
Brother.
corner.
It's this
Like
little
a
bromance,
brother.
you know, that
So
Jeff
sweet.
is kind of the guy that's, even though it looks like the jock and the cool guy, is there ready for Clay and trying to push him in the,
You know
the
what?
right direction.
I think Jeff is the Jake Ryan of our show.
Oh.
Oh,
Yes.
I've not said that publicly, but it's true. I do. I'm not saying Clay is, oh God, Michael Anthony Hall. And anyway, but Jake had that knowing, old
Yes.
soul,
Yes,
really
old soul.
attractive,
Yeah.
high school perfect boy. So I feel like he's kind of like
Yes.
that guy.
And I like how
I
he
really like that.
blew off Justin. Just like, I'm gonna check on my friend. Like, I need to know what just happened between
Yeah.
Hannah
Yeah.
right now. That was
Right.
I had so much respect for that right there.
I agree with that. God, I know there was another moment I wanted to. Oh,
The
of
dance?
course, with the dance.
Okay,
I
so
wanted to talk about the nightmare.
So we were, oh,
Right?
yeah.
That-
Isn't that genius?
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
I wrote
Scared me.
dream in parentheses because I was just like, there's no way this is real. Like, you're that good a dancer at this dance right now. But I was just like, I wanted it to be real.
Isn't
like,
that-
at the same
and
time.
They did that so well because the way he throws that jacket in his face.
For real.
His
Yes.
face. I just love the Clay in that.
It was like
that
a-
opening scene.
a different little Dylan for
I
a
know.
second.
Yeah.
He's a great actor.
He is.
I
He
love
is.
him.
No,
a
he's
really good
phenomenal.
actor. And Julia Bicknell wrote that episode, and she did such a wonderful job. And it was her
It was
first TV
so good.
episode ever.
Really?
Yeah, she was a new writer. She was a writer's
Wow.
assistant, and she got to write an episode.
Wow.
And this was hers, and it's just
We had a lot of new people.
yeah, and
all
she knocked it
around.
out of the park. And the cool thing is they wrote it, and it said this song, this song, this song. Like it's this great song. The song wasn't known. We just did it without the song because that comes
Right.
later. We wanted it to be something special, and it's a different thing that it was my favorite song, and I had like made like a playlist for people because I'm such a nerd. Like I think these songs would be really good. No one.
A mixtape.
Yeah, I did. Oh, I did it. It's called March 2016. Actually,
That's
my
awesome.
Spotify. If anybody would like to follow, it's Kristel 7. No, it's Kristel with 2 L's 7. Anyway,
Yeah.
Okay.
but
Check.
so I love that. I love that song. But the director had put a different song in, which doesn't matter what it was, and we saw the first cut, and he just needed something that was like a beautiful song. And he was asking his boyfriend. He said, I feel like there's something else out there. And his boyfriend said the song. So I'm watching the episode again, like cut to, I don't know if I'm supposed to say all this kind of stuff, but like.
Say it.
Say it,
Yeah.
You're starting it.
You're asking me, the one who vomits everything out.
Anyway, I'm sitting there watching the second cut one day, and I push play, and I'm kind of doing whatever, and the song comes on. And this is, no joke, I found it on some mix or whatever, like lunchtime specials or whatever. And I'm like, and so that's why I started loving it, and I love this band, and I heard the song, and I was like, wait, where's that song coming from? And I didn't realize it was coming from the show, and I was like, oh my god, and I texted them, I'm like, have you guys watched it? Have you guys watched it? Because we watch it right when we get the cuts, like, right away, and so I was so excited, and I asked the director, I'm like, how did you know about this? He's like, my boyfriend loves this song, and I was like, it's the perfect song, and he's like, don't you think? And so,
So perfect.
That
it's
is-
just,
That makes it even more special, knowing
Yeah,
that story.
every time I hear it, I start crying still. Like in episode 1, when they're playing the Vance Joy song, and you see her in the hallway, and she smiles at him, and then she disappears. I literally could start crying now. Like I've seen that 25 times, and it makes me cry. But when I hear this song and the background singers at the very beginning, and how ominous it is, and the lights, and so in January, I'm such a big fan that I went to go see Lord here in LA, and when they play this song, they don't know what this looked like, right? The lights all turn blue. And,
my
like in the
gosh.
dream sequence, and I go, and I took a picture, and I
Oh
sent
my
it to
gosh.
everyone else, the director, everyone. I'm like,
That's perfect.
you guys, look at the lights. I mean, it's very smart
Right.
lighting
Yeah.
choice for
Yeah.
it, but it looks just like the show. And I sent it to the manager, the band's manager, and I said, I can't wait for you to see the episode where their song is in, because it actually has the same lighting mood, and literally like tears running down my
Yes.
face, and the fact that it's playing throughout, and all the things they say. Oh, what Tony does, and gives her a tape early, and then later he says he gives him a tape at the end.
Love it.
All of that was done without having a song and knowing that there was going to be the perfect song.
Wow.
And now
that
it
is
exists, and I'm so happy.
That's an incredible story. I absolutely love
Because
that.
you guys, when we watch these iconic, when the other like iconic shows, music is so important, and it doesn't drive
the mood.
It does, yeah. It's part of the show, but it doesn't drive it. Like, it's great to have wonderful writing that our writers have done, but when you add good music, it just makes everything better, and so it just kind of illuminates it. So.
It does. It completes the whole picture.
Yeah.
I also wanted to talk about with that dream sequence, the choice of her cutting herself, and that was her death. I don't want to give anything away for those of you who haven't binged or whatnot, but I thought that was interesting. There are some, we don't know at this point yet in the show if that is how she kills herself or whatnot, but there was no hint to that in the book that it may be something along those lines. So I thought, like, the first time I watched this episode and that happened, I was like, oh my gosh.
I was wondering how people would see it for the first
too.
time, because we already knew. So
Oh, it sent me into a panic, which I'm assuming may be like the feel that you all wanted.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, but it absolutely did. I was not expecting that in any way, because in the book it's completely different, and they talk about why they chose it to be that way in the book. So for it to be, graphic, on the show, I was like, whoa, I didn't even realize that was potentially something that we were going to cover, was a graphic potential suicide, which, was there a discussion of, I'm assuming there was a large discussion about that.
Yeah.
I mean, we watched probably, it was like 27, 30 suicides from movies.
Different scenes.
Different scenes to see how we wouldn't glorify it or make it, romantic in any way. And so it was a big discussion because we wanted it to be effective, too.
Yeah, and you want it to feel like something you don't want to do ever. And there's too many scenes of beautiful music and beautiful bathrooms and all these different ways to do it, and it kind of glamorizes it in a way, and we didn't want that. We wanted it to be something you didn't really ever want to experience.
Absolutely.
And that's a choice, and sometimes other ways seem more glamorous.
Yeah, and whenever we were initially doing it, I kind of felt a little psychotic when we were dealing with other places that weren't willing to take it where we wanted it to go. It was like, no, I got so mad. You remember? I was getting so frustrated because people wouldn't creatively get it. And I'm like, no, she's got to and I explained this really graphic suicide, so I'm not going to repeat it. But, so I was really happy because we didn't know when we went into the pitch how they were going to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if we're going to affect people in the way that we want and show them, the kids that need to watch this show are probably not going to watch it if we preach to them or we make something not look like a big deal. And not that if you take your life through pills, that's not a big deal. You shouldn't take your life at all.
Right.
But if you look at and you're watching it, she's just sleeping. So if someone's thinking about it, that's kind of like a simple way to get rid of all your problems.
Right.
And that's not what we wanted. We wanted people to watch it and go, oh, okay, there's nothing great about this. This girl's alone, that's painful. And when they're mean to someone, go back to that image and, me, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but that was what I was, that's what I was hoping for. That you go, okay, I might affect someone, I got to be better, and da-da-da. So I just wanted it to be honest. And,
Yeah, I think the honesty is important.
Is really important.
Yeah. And I think doing, showing it for the first time with this nightmare dream sequence dance scene, it does do exactly what you're saying by taking the glamour out of it, because you're showing this huge monumental thing for any high schoolers, like going to these dances and it's beautiful and all of this, and then all of a sudden we look back at her and it's just blood coming down her arms. It completely takes the glamour out of it and brings you right back to reality and strips away strips away like these little high school moments that we hold so huge, and then brings you back down and is like, this is a real life thing. Oh, it was terrifying. Watching it twice, just as terrifying. I think I actually watched it 3 times because my roommates all watched it at different times. So,
do they know who your roommate is?
Oh, my roommate was Sadie, who was here last week.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And I feel like the reason the show is like huge on social media right now is because of the fact it doesn't hold back.
It doesn't. It's absolutely incredible. It has caused so much discussion, I feel like, through everybody, which is, I think, everything that Jay wanted, you all wanted. It's absolutely incredible.
I'm just happy that also, I'm glad that kids are watching it and discussing it, but even, my mom is going to be 70 this weekend, and she watched it, and I thought it was going to be too much for her.
Yeah.
Because she's kind of a Pollyanna about these things. And she watched it all. She finished on Tuesday, and she said, I have to say, there are things in high school that I just couldn't talk about, and I couldn't, no one knew, and we weren't allowed to even ask our friends. It just felt like it was wrong, and this just put me back to that moment and all the things I would have done differently. And I was like, that's what you want, like an adult woman who's went through a lot of her life, and now she can very quickly go back to that time in her life and kind of, respond and react. And,
yeah, I know, it's
relate.
important for adults to watch it, I really think, especially if they went to high school a long time ago. I was doing an interview, and the guy goes, the first question out of his mouth, he goes, really, all this happens in one high school? I go, did mine.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it did mine, and some of those things happened to me, so...
Right.
And he's like, oh, really? And I'm like, yeah, where were you raised? So
Wow.
My younger
Perfect
there.
high school,
right?
Yeah,
He's like,
exactly.
oh, well, I don't know. And like, he couldn't relate to
I think
anything.
he forgot about high school and then just now relates high school to like
Maybe.
Maybe he
school
blocks it
movies.
out.
I mean,
Well,
it's
you don't
a
know,
really
right?
great interview and a positive
a lot of
review,
people think that they see what's in the movies and then they just have assumed that's what everyone's high school was like or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
They've created a fantasy to
yes.
not remember their experience or yeah.
What I loved about this, these 2 seasons were Clay deciding to make his own justice.
Episodes.
But, yeah, you know what I meant. You know what I meant.
Jay just wants other seasons.
I do, so that's neither here nor there.
It's
But
a turning point for his character.
it
for
really
sure.
was, and like if I'm gonna be the one who said, I actually liked his brand of justice. Like, you need to know how she felt, Tyler, not just hearing her tape. You need to feel, because what you did was a big invasion of privacy.
Yeah. It's
Like,
huge.
regardless.
Yeah.
But in making Courtney face what she needs to face is something she needs to do. Somebody needs to push her
Yeah.
to do it a little bit too.
Yeah.
Not to say it was right or wrong.
But the thing is it wasn't okay to expose her and on Tyler's part
Right.
for, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it wasn't okay. And he did that to 2 people. He was like invading on their privacy at the same time. And the fact that Hannah asked him for all the pictures and then he posted it anyway, that's just like, that's just unforgivable.
It's
Yeah.
low.
But he was hurting in a different way because he's
Right.
always been put upon.
When she
by other
rejects him
kids.
as she's walking out.
Yeah, and it's
you
not.
know?
But that's
It's like,
her prerogative, and
Right.
and him thinking that she deserves some kind of poor treatment
Retribution.
for that.
Right.
Yeah, is a bummer because it's not okay. But obviously he has a lot on his mind and
Right.
has been through a lot too, but she didn't know that either.
Right.
So,
And I like that you're showing those ways to deal with those kind of things or not, because there are so many, kids in high school who are in love with this like popular girl and they don't know how to deal with it. Obviously going to their house and taking pictures is not the way to deal with it.
Not the way.
And obviously when they don't want to date you, sending a picture of them to the entire school is not a way to deal with it.
Nope.
And I think just so effortlessly telling that story is demonstrating that.
yeah.
Yeah. And so I really like that. And I think that's with all of the characters, showing their stories and their responses is kind of a way of not spoon feeding us. I don't know the words I'm trying to say, but just showing us gently how they are dealing with things and ways to deal with it and to not deal with it in the way that we should all respond to each other's dealings with it. I don't know.
Especially Justin's way of dealing with it was stupid. Just, only because, like, okay, so Alex, he drove the car and then he got stopped by police. Oh, that's your dad. We're untouchable. I'm like, no, he's untouchable.
Yeah.
You two are just, like, in the back seat.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
Let's be
He
real.
felt like he
That
was.
gave me a heart attack.
But that was such a guy moment in high school. Like that
yeah.
entire car scene, I was like, I was friends with these guys
Yep.
in high school,
Yep.
and one of them did have like a dad who was a cop, and they were like, oh, I can get away with anything,
Great.
whatever. But they're always the ones that get in trouble.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I think that was such an important moment for us to see Alex in the situation where he's kind of unwinding. He's getting into the spiral of losing control and driving the car, which is now, having watched the episodes again after binging, is a point that really stands out because
Yes.
he's really one of the boys that's taking this to heart and feeling bad about what he did,
Yeah.
My-
Oh,
yeah.
That was
Oh.
my mom when she texted me after she finished. She goes, "He was damned if he did, damned if he didn't."
My anxiety level during that scene
Oh.
was
Oh, yeah.
so much.
Alex's storylines is one of my favorites,
I
actually.
love Miles.
I love Miles.
He's
It's-
such a
he's
good
so cute.
actor, and it's neat because he was on Parenthood for 4 or 5 years, and
Right.
had this role as a son, and he just changed everything. I thought he was just so wonderful, and changing his look and he's such a good actor. I thought it was a really great move for him, and he did it wonderfully.
Yeah.
Oh yes, but they all did.
Yeah.
I mean,
They
the
were
casting
good.
process.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That must have been so stressful for you guys to try and get the perfect people, and you nailed it. I mean,
felt
the cast
really-
is incredible.
It felt like everything kind of fell into place. I mean, there's a lot of work. The casting directors did a great job. And
Was it like an open casting call-ish or
no, just normal, just like
normal?
how they, their agents would know and they'd put them up for it or whatever. But it just worked out in the best possible way. You know why? Because the creator of the show, our director, when we were casting, they said, we want the best actors.
I love
And
that.
So, and we want a good cast that reflects everyone that we want to watch the show. And so that's what we wanted to open up, to everything. Because it doesn't say what anyone is, what race, ethnicity,
Right.
or anything in the book. And that's a great place to start. So
Absolutely.
you can really just look at, like, what do we want to see? Who do we see every day? And, who's the best actor? And that's what we got. And that's why I think it worked so well.
Yeah, my husband was laughing at me because we've been with the book for so long. I'm like, I'm going to know when I see Clay and Hannah. And I would sit there at night and they would send over all the auditions and I would go, no.
Yep.
No. He goes, you're not even letting them do the whole thing. I go, I'll know when I see them,
Yeah.
And I think that's what it was. It had nothing to do with who they were or their background. I didn't even look at resumes.
Well,
really.
I
didn't know
knew
he was the
Dylan
kid in
Renat
Goosebumps
was.
until after we
I
cast
did
him.
because I saw it
Oh.
with 3 little
I saw
kids.
Goosebumps.
Well, you know me, I don't
You know?
forget. a
I
face.
know you don't.
So I knew who he was, and he sat down for his first audition, and we haven't got to the episode yet for this, but he did the monologue, and it was just so different than I'd ever seen, and I was like,
I already know which monologue. I'm like, the minute that you said it, I'm like, I think I know which monologue it is. I think I know which one.
not telling.
And it was a really good one if I'm thinking of the right one.
I think I've seen it somewhere online.
No, that's not possible. Really?
Well, no,
They have
like the
footage
monologue
all
thing.
over.
The monologue that she's talking about.
Oh.
Yeah. No, people are cutting their own trailers.
No, I was
different
just saying,
songs.
like, auditions or whatever.
Oh, no,
no,
not
no.
auditions.
No, the
Yeah.
monologue part.
Oh,
yeah.
But it was just cool to see someone that you've seen in different movies, and he was completely different than I'd ever seen him before. That was amazing.
Yeah.
What I like about some of the cast is this is some of their first things they've done.
Yes.
That's what was
Yes.
so
It's a great
amazing.
experience.
Yeah,
Well,
and
Justin
I
is
was gonna
one.
say
He's
that.
got nothing on IMDb.
Oh yeah, Brandon.
Neither does
Yeah.
Tommy, so that was like really cool.
Yeah.
So it was just amazing to see new, fresh actors bringing new life to something that you can
Oh.
obsess over.
Yeah.
I think that was what worked with Catherine, though.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Hannah
as well.
was so vulnerable, and you needed to find someone who could do that. And she's working off not being a trained actress. She's working off emotions and kind of what she's being guided. So she was kind of going into it without, she hadn't read the book yet, and 'cause she was just learning about it, and so I think that's why she was so subtle and so real, because she wasn't overtrained in thinking about it.
And
And
we
she's just playing the moment.
And we
Yeah.
saw her just on tape. She just self-taped with I don't know, it was an acting coach or a friend or something, in Australia. And so we just, I kept watching her tape, and then each time, she just got better and better, and she Skyped with our director, and they had a really great talk, and then she just nailed it. So
I love that.
And
exciting.
episode after episode, I keep forgetting that she's
I
Australian.
know, isn't it
Right.
crazy?
It's insane.
It's true. You guys, we are getting really close on time. I'm actually surprised they haven't told us to wrap it up. So I do want to go into some predictions. I know now we have all kind of watched the show. But there are some things that I guess more so I can ask you, Chae, but everybody else as well. Because at this point, we still don't know very much about Bryce. We can kind of like conclude that he doesn't know about the tapes. So
He's the only one, obviously. Like, they're trying to keep it from him, which I just find really interesting. And
Yeah.
just like in this realm, because he just seems like he's like the top person, but like they're like
He
trying to
doesn't
keep
know
him
the top
out.
person.
One thing I do always notice about Bryce is that he's actually genuinely very friendly. Like whenever Hannah walks by, he'll always be like, "Hi, Hannah." He'll always.
Is he?
But I know, I know the full story, obviously. But one thing that I did notice about Bryce's character is how he's always so friendly.
It's the charismatic ones.
It may be a
He's
front.
well-raised.
Yeah.
Well raised. Yeah,
yeah,
we
I
see
think
his
very-
home and all of that, good family. But I don't know why that stuck with me. I was just like, always
It's
he's
just
so
being
friendly.
polite,
He's
and
so polite.
He learned to be polite at an
Yeah.
early age, and no matter where that takes him, who knows? But like, some people are just raised with certain manners, and doesn't mean they're
Good people.
good people or bad people or anything. It's just well mannered.
Yeah, I mean, and not nobody is just one thing.
No,
that doesn't define them. So
but that's a good observation.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
What I like about Bryce, I'm gonna say this real quick, is that no, because like I just noticed like it gave me like Clueless vibes, because like episode 2 or 3, and he called his mate like Guatemalan, or Justin makes like she's Guatemalan, she's like, we're having Mexican, I don't care, like we're going to the kitchen. And I was just thinking of Clueless for like that scene when she didn't know where
she speaks Mexican.
Yeah.
And I just found that so funny. I'm just like, Clueless is all I got.
But it's good. It kind of gave a little levity and embarrassing, realism.
Yes. Very true.
Upper classness.
Yes.
Okay, and what are we thinking about Jess and Justin and them talking about Hannah potentially lying? Like, what are you thinking that...
Jessica's in denial.
Okay.
I haven't seen this, so I'm going to assume she's in denial. She wants to believe her boyfriend. But like, only because like the way they're in the scene and how Marcus and Justin look at each other, it's just like, okay, so she's out of the loop, but y'all know something happened more than that happened, so she's not lying.
Do you have any idea of what you think that they think Hannah lied about?
Something about Jessica's party. I don't like.
Okay.
So I don't know. So I'm assuming something was really big, and like I'm pretty sure something life changing too, especially for a girl. So at that point, like my mind can go a million different ways.
So you haven't read the book?
I have not. I'm gonna read it when we're over.
No, that's cool. I was wondering.
I'm the only one. I think
you're really getting to hear it through like the fresh eyes.
I love it.
It's awesome.
It's cool.
I'm reading along, which is really fun because
you'll find
because I'm noticing the differences and the like more mature. That's what I'm noticing.
Well, I think it's creatively for you. I think, and just thinking about, I don't know what you want to do, going forward, but creatively, it's cool to see the development of it.
It is.
See where we started and where the writers took it, and I just think that's a great lesson that I wish I would have done when I was younger to kind of
bless you.
I warned them that this was sneezing all day. I was like, I'm gonna lose it, and I'm sorry. I didn't know.
We have a quick question because everybody in the chat wants to know: will there be a season 2?
We do not know.
I don't believe it.
I don't believe it too. I hope.
Would you like to have a season 2?
Would you like to have season 2?
I feel like it would be very interesting to explore, but that's all.
Who knows?
I'm gonna tell you afterwards what I would like out of season 2, so we'll chit chat about that.
Take notes.
Yes.
My question was, I feel like we got like some of the answers, but like you all said episode 5 was one of your favorites. So why is it one of the favorites?
I told her because I thought it was.
Oh, it is. Well, I have a couple.
Maybe early on.
Yeah. No, I love 5. I think the song and the beauty of it, and them being at a dance, I think it's very traditional, but also very untraditional in the way it opens.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and the way it ends, and it's a lot about like taking your shower, how it begins,
and just crying.
And they're talking about, I'm sorry, I love the dad and how he sees him and he says, "Hey pal," and he says, "Dad, what we say about pal?" And he's like, "Hey,
I love
honey."
it.
And I literally laugh out loud every time. And he's like, "I think it's possible you didn't shower."
Yeah.
So, and the fact that you end in the shower at the end, and he's crying, it just makes me like he needed that shower to release, and he wasn't ready yet. I know it's like kind of weird to think
No,
about.
that's perfect.
Like there's so much about it, and just how a song makes a difference in a relationship, and like when you can have one thing to kind of hold on, it brings you right back to that moment with that person, and that's why 5 and it's just such it's like right when you know, oh, they could be something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And you were rooting for it to happen, even though you knew she was no longer there, and that was kind of just like a dream.
And that's
You're
unique.
like, it was just. So I think that was their relationship, and other characters are all making these real pivotal turning points. So then getting more connected to the characters by you're at the end 104 and then all through 105.
Great.
You're starting to really see.
Agreed.
Mandy, just last question. I know we have to wrap up. What was it like, because this is now the first time you and Serena have really worked on a project together as mom and daughter? How did you enjoy that?
It was fine. It was like totally normal. It's actually the easiest thing that we've ever done together. Yeah.
It's been so long.
Yeah.
We've had the project for so long.
Yeah. So she knew the project, and she trusts me and Kristel, and she's like, okay, and she's so excited and happy. She's sending me reviews and stuff. And she never does that. She has never done that once. She's, can you believe this? And then well, I was about to call them Clay and Hannah, but they have over 1 million followers now. Blah, blah, blah.
I know. I've seen
so
that
excited
change.
by
It's
insane.
incredible.
It was just so funny to hear her when we'd have meetings or whatever. She'd go, "I'm just so happy."
Oh,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
And it feels good. Like we feel the same way. It feels so great to. I couldn't love the people we've worked with. Our producers, our partners on this have been such a great influence on it, and it takes a village. With the actors, with the crew. The crew was wonderful. Where we shot was wonderful. Everyone we've worked with, our studios, the network. I've never worked with a better group of people in my life. It could have just one element not working could have made this an after school special. Yeah. But everybody was so on board with being honest, and they all gave their heart and soul, and they were wearing themselves out to make sure it was perfect. That at the premiere, I literally sat in the chair after I walked the carpet and went. And I got I go, everybody's in their job, and I was so excited when everybody was there. And I loved even seeing our camera operator was there, and he just did such a wonderful job, and they trusted him so much. Someone like that who the cast trusts, who are young, new actors, and this guy was right in their face all the time. It meant something, and they were really happy he was there and happy he was a part of it. And so when every piece of the puzzle works like that, it's just a dream come true.
Even more reason for season 2.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you.
We do have to wrap up. They've had it up for 5 minutes. We've been ignoring it. I'm so sorry, you guys. If you guys have any questions, I hope that we covered every topic that you wanted to. We learned so much about this from them. But if you guys have any questions and want to chat with us throughout the week, please do tweet at all of us. Thank you guys so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Again, where can they find you all?
Instagram.
Yeah,
I know it's a long one.
No, mine's KTAL77. KTAL77.
Yeah.
And she's.
You only have one L?
KTAL.
L.
No, it's L777. My
Spotify is double L.
Yeah. My Spotify is double L.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, okay. And mine's Kicked with a 2. Kicked to the Curb Productions.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Ladies?
Guys, I'm at Chanel Hurlin, so please tweet me. Let me know what you're thinking.
Hey guys, I'm Chae Jones. Chae Jones, you can find me at Real Chae Jones on Twitter and Instagram. Love Shea Butter on Snapchat. You cannot spoil anything for me, but you can please tweet at me. I love your tweets, and you guys are so awesome. We appreciate you.
Yes. I'm Becca Brown. Y'all can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca B Talks TV, and giving away a signed book.
Yes.
So rate and
We're adding them to it.
subscribe on iTunes and leave a comment on iTunes.
Solid. Becca
We'll be
nailed it.
drawing on May
Thank you
12th.
to all the fans.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you all, I'm Hannah Prichard. You all can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at The Hotshot Dude, and we will see you all next week. Thank you so much, you all.
Bye. Yeah.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.